All right, let me bring Jason Buttrill in, who is the host of our Behind the Scenes Insider podcast, which coincides with this show, to give more information. And today you're going to be really busy today in the breaks because we can't get to all the information we've just spent about 90 minutes talking about in highlight form. So, Jason, I want to take us bit by bit. First, let me see if I can take us through kind of a TikTok on what happened. We all found out Saturday. The president was here in West Palm, and all of this was conducted here at Mar-a-Lago. And he gave a speech early in the morning where he said, we have launched an attack. And we struck 500 plus targets across Iran, including missile sites and command centers. The supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, was killed in that air campaign. We didn't find out until later on Saturday. They didn't verify that, but he and 40 leaders in something that should tell you, man, there is no place to hide. We knew exactly where this guy was, the CIA did, and we gave the information to Israel and said, you want to go get that guy? Go get that guy. And they bombed precision, and it was remarkable what happened. The other thing that people are talking about is the primary school in southern Iran. It was hit in the attacks, and scores of children were killed. That just heightens, the crime. These are war crimes. Well, no, I mean, accidents do happen. There's nobody that is trying to avoid those things. I mean, look at the precision strikes we're making. Do you really think that we actually targeted a school? I mean, just think this through, gang. What would our motive be for that? To be the pariah of the world? I mean, even if we had evil in our hearts and we're like, yeah, and then we're going to kill all the children, you would never do that. You'd never do that openly, especially on the first day. And that's assuming you had evil in their hearts. Our military does not have evil in the heart. We are not targeting schools. This is war. And the way this is being fought is, for the very first time in my lifetime, we have a president, and you can disagree with all of this and the way he's fighting, but we have a president who knows how to carry a very big stick. I have always believed, and I was explaining to Ricky today about the fuel air bomb. Fuel air bomb is one of the most devastating things we have. It sprays a mist of fuel over the battlefield, okay? And then it's lit on fire. And what that does, if you're standing on the battlefield, you look up suddenly and the whole sky is on fire. But what that does is it takes the oxygen literally out of the lungs of every soldier on the battlefield. So you suffocate and then burn to death, okay? And I have always felt, I mean, that's such a horrible thing, but I have always felt that metaphorically, that's the way you have to fight war. If you're going to fight war, there is no such thing as a fair fight. You want to make it as unfair and lopsided as possible. If you're going to do it, overwhelm. And the fastest way to get through war is to have every person on the planet go, take the air out of their lungs. Oh my gosh, don't ever mess with them. That's how you keep the peace. But you don't keep the peace by intentionally killing children in schoolhouses. So that's pretty much what happened on Saturday. You want to give me some color and play-by-play here on this, Jason?
Yes, we know. So as everyone knows, we've been watching this military buildup for quite a while now. And just to give some context on some of that military buildup, producer Matt, throw this up super quick for everyone to see. This is a breakdown that was done of all the military hardware that was put in theater. It's absolutely insane when you consider.
By the way, if you're just listening, we'll try to describe it on radio, but today is the day you should have Torch, glennbeck.com/torch, because we're going to be showing you a lot of stuff that is a little overwhelming when you see it. All right, go ahead.
And to put that even more context, producer Matt, throw this map up there. This shows the firepower of that entire arsenal in terms of missiles, combat aircraft. It is significant, more than we've seen in a very, very long time. And
you haven't to say that, Jason, is one thing. Do you have? Because I don't think we saw this in Iraq, did we?
We did for the invasion. It's very similar to, at least in terms of air power and naval power. What we're missing here is the ground combat element. I would not be surprised though if there is some kind of special forces element that are on the ground. We won't get confirmation of that, I'm sure, but that would not surprise me. May I say,
when anybody says we won't have anybody on the ground, just hear this. I find that highly unlikely, because if there is nuclear material, we are going to have to get it out. You don't just leave that there. If there is nuclear material, if there are any kind of missile material that is left, we will have to send ground troops in just to secure it and to get it out of there. Not necessarily to fight, but to secure the nuclear facilities. And hopefully, if there are any centrifuges left, to secure all of those and either destroy them or get them out. Go ahead.
There's also the matter of just how air to ground combat works. Usually, and we saw this the last time when Israel and the United States struck the nuclear targets, a few months ago, they had Israeli special forces on the ground picking targets out. I would assume there's something similar to that. But we also, Glenn, I don't know how much time do you have a 12-hour radio show today? There's also the idea of what happens to a lot of these radicals as they try to flee out of the area. My guess is they're probably going to go to Iraq, and that's a whole nother discussion of what happens in the fallout.
Iraq could become the next Iran. I mean, this is why anybody who was definitively saying, this is the greatest thing ever, or definitively saying, this is the worst thing ever, they're fools. Do not listen to them. This could be really, really good. This could be really, really bad. What you have to ask is, do you trust the person who is in command of this? For me, and I'll explain this later, I happen to believe the president has earned my trust that he is not a forever war guy. He knows how to handle the military in a very effective way and use it quickly, deadly, and get the hell out of there, which is the way I want our military to be used. So I'll get into this later, but he has bought the credibility, at least from me. You, maybe not you, but I think you should look at that. That's what you should be looking at. Does the president have credibility enough? Has he bought enough credibility to at least for you to say, I'm not in the Situation Room. I don't know all of the information, but I trust this guy has the best intention. If you believe that, then you have to just let go of the outcome for a little while at least and say, let him do his job. We hired him to do this job. He, to me, has proven he can do this job, and it's a much bigger picture. So relax, but also don't write a blank check of support, because things could go bad, and that would mean things have got to change. Remember, we went into Iraq and it was looking really good, and then it got horrible, and they never changed strategy, and it turned into that nightmare. So, this could turn into a nightmare, but it also could turn into something good. Look for the principles and then take it one day at a time. There's no reason to write a check to support or to be against anything other than right now. What am I feeling right now? How is this going? Without floating principles. Your principles have to be locked in, but your support does not have to be, or your being against does not have to be. That changes with the conditions on the ground, but your principles must never change. And I'll outline those here in a little while. But let's go back to Jason here. All right, Jason, pick it back up. Where do we go next?
So I want to throw this map up to show where the assault started and where we're likely to go to next. Producer Matt, throw this map up really quick. So this was the initial attack. As you can see, it was the strike on the Supreme Leader's compound. Now that was an operational dictate depending on new information that happened at the time. I don't feel like they wanted to strike at the moment, but they found an opportunity that they really could not pass up, and that was a multitude of large officials meeting at the Supreme Leader's house. So it started there, but as you can see, some of these other squares that were popping up, these are IRGC locations, command and control type areas within Tehran. Now, this area right here, this little oval is very, very familiar to people that military analysts have been watching this for a while. This is one of the most heavily guarded areas in the world, if it's not named Moscow or Beijing. These, and we can go into the actual military hardware and equipment later if you want, but all of these areas really should not, they were deemed unable to be hit by a lot of people in the world, and for good reason, because they were heavily fortified. But the attack started there. But I want to show you this map, and this is from the New York Times. This was where the entire operation expanded to. Targets all over Iran. And I want to show you, these are
this is
basically,
I believe, twice the size of Texas, is it not? I mean, it's a massive landmass.
Massive landmass, and that's a lot of areas that have hidden missile bunkers, places that the regime can use to counterattack, hit places like Israel, hit places like the Straits of Hormuz, our Navy. And on that point, I want to give this context because you will not hear this from the mainstream media. I want to show you, producer Matt, throw this back up really quick. This is the southern area where that school was reportedly hit. And I don't know the situation of everything surrounded there, whether it was a mistake, whether some of this was propaganda. I don't know. But look at the location of where that's at. That's kind of a strategic area if you want to know why that area is being targeted in multiple different spots. That's right at the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, that's where you choke it off. That's where the military, our military, is sinking their Navy right now. Yesterday, Trump said they sunk 9 ships. They have dozens of ships, and you really have to sink them all. But that is exactly at the point where that is on the edge on the coast there. That is the place where you would lay mines. And I know we are going after their ships in that area, and we are also looking for the smaller boats that are laying mines. So there's a lot of activity most likely happening right there on both sides.
100%. And where the operation is right now is the United States and Israel are attempting to gain air superiority over the entire battle space. They're also trying to attempt to knock out their ability to respond to other countries within the Middle East, to Israel, or to our bases. So that is going to happen for a while. I would say at least 1 to 2 weeks. I do not think you will see any ground element. And when I say ground element, I mean protesters out in the streets that are starting to take over and rebel against the Iranian regime. Although we did see some of that this weekend. They preemptively came out and they were cheering for the death of the Supreme Leader. But I do not think you'll see them come out until that initial phase happens. So I'm saying at least maybe as soon as next week, maybe 2 weeks from now, that's when the air superiority portion will be complete, and that's when they'll move on to phase 2. And that's when they'll start seeing people
I will tell you,
out.
that's where the president said over the weekend, stay inside your houses.
Yeah.
It's very, very dangerous. Do not go outside. It's too dangerous right now. He has said, this is going to be up to you. And thank God, because we're not going to nation build. I will go against this thing so fast if we start nation building. We don't nation build. That's for them to do. You can give people the opportunity to open the door of freedom, but you can't force them to walk through it. It's up to them to do it. And that will be coming, I think, in the next few days. Also, I want to talk to Jason about what does this mean with Russia and China as far as their defense systems failed again.